Hey guys, you may notice that today's video is a little different. We're changing things up a little bit, okay? We're doing podcasts now because I want to do a podcast instead of videos. So let's dive into today's video, which is about a killer known as the dating game killer. So, on September 13th, 1978, Cheryl Bradshaw had a very creepy experience with a man on a matchmaking show called The Dating Game. Out of a line of, quote, eligible bachelors, she chose bachelor number 1, Rodney Alcala. During the show, he was charming and funny, and no one could have guessed his secret. He was a serial killer. After the show, Cheryl talked to Alcala and he asked her on a date, which she politely declined because Cheryl said that she got an odd vibe from Alcala and she started to feel sick after talking to him. So she turned down his date offer because she found him creepy and, personally, slay, girl. You don't want to go out with some creepy old man or whatever age he was. Anyways, one of the other bachelors, Jed Mills, recalls him as quiet and creepy and, quote, kind of good looking, unquote. If the show did background checks, they would have found Alcala already spent 3 years in prison for assaulting and beating an 18-year-old girl. Prior to the show, he had at least 4 victims that he hadn't been linked to yet. After being arrested, he claimed that he killed between 50 to 100 people. And now we're going to talk about his early life and his childhood a little bit. Okay, so Rodney Alcala was born in San Antonio, Texas on August 23rd, 1943. When Alcala was 8, his father, Raul Alcala Bucor, I hope I said that right, moved them to Mexico, then abandoned them 3 years later. Then his mother, Ana Maria Gutierrez, again, hope I said that right, moved him and his sisters Christine and Marie to Los Angeles. When Alcala was 17, he entered the army as a clerk but was medically discharged after a nervous breakdown. So he had a little mental breakdown, which we all have from once in a while, but it's okay, and he was medically discharged for that. And after that, he, with his 135 IQ, graduated UCLA with a fine arts degree. After transferring from California State University, that's when he went to UCLA and, graduated. Although, after graduating, his straight line took a sharp left turn. You know why? He started killing people, that's kind of, it's a little turn from a graduate with 135 IQ, but his signatures, which is how people kill, well, not people, how serial killers kill their victims, were beating, biting, assaulting, and strangling. Oftentimes he'd choke his victims till they passed out, then do it all again when they came to. Now we're going to talk about his victims. So, his first known attempt, the victim, 8-year-old Tali Shapiro, just barely survived her assault and beating. Her life was saved because Alcala fled when the police arrived at his apartment after receiving a tip of a possible abduction by a passerby. After his first attempt, he was a fugitive for years. Then he moved to New York and studied in a film school at NYU under Roman Polanski under the alias John Berger. It's such a weird name. Why would you choose John Berger? You could be anyone and you chose John Berger. It wasn't even spelled right. I mean, not right, but it was Berger instead of B-U-R, yeah, that's how you spell burger. Anyways, and he was arrested for the murder attempt in 1971 after being recognized by an FBI poster. He was only sent to prison on assault charges, though, because Shapiro's parents kept her from testifying, which made it kind of impossible for charging assault charges. Soon after spending 3 years in prison for that, he spent 2 more for assaulting a 13-year-old girl. Authorities let Alcala travel to New York to visit relatives, I say that in air quotes, because we now believe that within 7 days of getting there, he murdered a college student, Elaine Hover, who was also a daughter of a popular nightclub owner, Herman Hover, and goddaughter of Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin. Sorry, I need to take a deep breath there. Soon after, Alcala got a typesetter position in Los Angeles Times in 1978. I don't know how he got that position considering his long, sizable criminal record. At night, he coaxed young girls into his apartment for his professional photography portfolio. I say that in air quotes. And just keep in mind that on his show appearance, he said the best time was at night. And at night, he was luring young girls to his apartment to basically rape and murder them. So, yeah, that's not good. That's kind of chilling. Very chilling. The year after his TV show appearance, a 17-year-old Liane Ledom, I hope I said that right, walked away from a photo shoot with Alcala unharmed. He showed her his portfolio, which while included shots of women, were pages pages and pages of naked teen boys. Rodney Alcala's last kill was Robin Samso, who was 12 years old. On June 20th, in 1979, she disappeared while heading to ballet class. She was with friends at a beach before she was heading to ballet class, and her friends said that a man approached and asked for a photo shoot, and they declined. Smart girls, they declined that. Then Samso left and disappeared before getting to her ballet class. 12 days later, a park ranger found her animal-devastated bones. In 1980, the jury found him guilty of first-degree murder, but California Supreme Court overturned because they felt the jury was biased because of learning about his past sex crimes. So because the jury knew about his past sex crimes, which they, probably should, they were biased because they knew about something he did in his past. And that makes so much sense, guys. So much sense. Okay, sorry. This part makes me mad. Anyways. 6 years later, in 1986, a second jury gave him the death penalty, but again, it was overturned because the second judge didn't let a witness back up the defense's claim that the park ranger who found Samso's body had been hypnotized by police investigators. So they overturned that he was going to prison because they didn't believe that a park ranger wasn't hypnotized by police investigators because the judge wouldn't let the witness speak. Because people get hypnotized by the police force all the time, guys. You didn't know that? That's crazy. It's really weird. Anyways, finally, in 2010, 31 years behind the murder, he was convicted in the third trial. Finally. On July 24th, 2021, Alcala did die of natural causes while sitting on death row at the age of 77. So he didn't even make it to the death penalty because the jury had to overturn it so many times and 15 years apart. So yeah, that part made me so angry, guys. I'm not even joking. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, it makes me so mad. Anyways, that's the end of today's video about the dating game killer Rodney Alcala. If you like true crime and serial killers and learning about them, then maybe you could like subscribe to my channel, because that's what I do here.